Thank you for tuning into the Generational Gauntlet Top 5 Faves. This is the podcast where we give you our top 5 on a topic with a generational twist to it. My name is Matt Lambert, and I'm the host of this podcast. Each week, I bring in a guest who's from a different generation than me to discuss or debate our top 5 on a selected topic. Now, we're getting ready to head into the greatest season of the year, and that is college football season. I am a massive college football fan, and sometimes I find myself yelling at the television when I see an official miss what I think was a blatant holding, a late hit, or a pass interference call. And to help me and to help others as we head into this season with our ridiculous views on what's happening on the field, I needed to bring in a real-life official. So today's guest is David Riedel, a Gen Xer, a football official, a former neighbor of mine, and the man responsible for the greatest fireworks show I've ever seen in any neighborhood I've ever lived in. So, David, how has life been treating you?
Life has been good. The neighborhood got a little more quiet when you left. So I still had Adam, so that's good.
That's true. That's true.
And he said, after I left, he said, you and I both abandoned him.
Well, we did. So for anybody listening, if you've heard Adam on episodes 9 and 17, he lived across the street from me in this neighborhood. David was to, I guess, the right, looking from my front porch, right next door to him. So this is like bringing it back to what my neighborhood was in West Virginia. Now, David, correct me if I'm wrong. You're a huge football fan, right?
I am. That's part of the reason why I'm a football official. It's just I love the game so much.
Did you play football growing up?
I did. I didn't start till middle school, but I played
Okay.
at Sarita Canova High School in West Virginia. They were well known. I played for a man that won 10 state titles in 25 years. Just
Wow.
an incredible individual and just a lot of fun. Love the game. And the only way I can get the least little bit of that feeling on Friday nights is to be back out on the field.
Well, when you played, what position did you play?
I was a tight end on offense and a defensive end on defense.
Okay, so two-way player. I like it. I will tell you, David, I did not get to play football growing up. My mom, who's been on this podcast, she's going to listen to this. She told me I was too skinny, and she was afraid I would get killed playing football. So did not let me play. Now, I know you played. Did you watch a lot of football growing up?
I did. I'm a huge Dallas Cowboys fan.
Okay.
And also, back in the old days, before Trump killed the USFL, I was a big New Jersey Generals fan.
Okay, nice.
So, and of course, college, I'm a Marshall guy.
I was going to ask you who you root for. So Cowboys and Marshall would be your teams, right?
Yes.
So I will tell you, I'm not a big professional football guy. Really, the only time I pay attention to professional football is for the fantasy football league that both of us are part of.
Yes.
I do root heavily for the Ohio State University. That's who my allegiance is fully pledged to. Now, David, switching over to part of why I have you on here today, you've been an official for the last 20 years. Is that correct?
I have.
All right. What got you into wanting to be an official?
Again, just getting back and giving something back to the game and just loving the game. This is my second go round. So I was an official from 91 to 97.
Okay.
And I got suspended at the end of the 97 season and I just didn't go back.
Yeah.
And I took it back up in 2011, 2012. So been doing that ever since. I was in 2024, I was the West Virginia Football Official of the Year.
Nice.
So it was a lot of recognition. I had a brainstem stroke in 2023 that took me out of the majority of football season.
Yeah.
Fully recovered from that, but I think that, as Philip called it, the comeback player, the comeback player of the year.
I mean, that's a pretty big deal to come back from that and get back into officiating. So I agree with him. And I got to ask, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm one of the blessed ones. I'm 9% of people that have brainstem strokes fully recovered. I'm one of that 9%. So
yeah,
truly blessed.
I mean, yeah, definitely. That's awesome. And in terms of officiating, I got to ask you, what is, in your opinion, what's the biggest game you've been a part of or you've officiated?
Well, it's the biggest game that I've ever had, it was, and I can't remember what class it was because this was the first go round in the 90s.
Mhm.
I did the state semifinal game in Kentucky, and it was I think at the time it was 4A, and
Mhm.
they've grown classes since then, but it was the number 1 seed versus the lowest remaining seed, and the lowest remaining seed pulled a huge upset with a Hail Mary on the last play of the game for the
Oh,
win.
that's awesome. Is that now, I do have to ask a follow-up on that. When you see something like that at the end of a game, something so cool and exciting, is it hard to separate, "I'm an official right now," and not let your fandom show through?
No, that's the interesting thing because I watch games completely different now.
Mhm.
I mean, it's I watch around like, when you're watching it, you watch the quarterback or you watch the running back.
Yeah.
I watch around the players. I rarely watch the running back. I'm usually
Okay.
watching the blockers, the wideouts, the
Mhm.
linemen to see to see what they're doing.
When you're watching them, what are you looking for?
B so I for the last however many years, I've been the back judge, so I work
Mhm.
deep middle. We do a 7-man crew, or we did up until this year, we're going to a 6-man crew. So my job is I have the widest or the slot guys on both sides.
Yeah.
And so if they're not in press coverage by the receivers, when I say press coverage, if they don't have a defensive back right up on the line or within a couple
Mhm.
yards of the line of scrimmage, and they're back 5 or 6 yards, and then they're not in press. So I can loosely watch that, and then I can peek in at the tackles, and those give you the keys of if it's gonna be a run or a pass.
Yeah.
So that makes it a little easier, and then you see your initial keys, which mine are the slot guys, and then it goes from there for who comes into my areas or who
Yeah.
you're watching for on a pass play. And a running play, you're just watching I'm watching downfield, watching the wide receivers to see if they're holding or
Mhm.
see if they're hold if see how well they're holding because everybody holds.
Because in my opinion, I think that you could probably throw a flag for holding on every single play. Would you agree
Yes.
with that?
Once they changed the rules, when they went to open hand inside, you
Mhm.
legalized hold.
That's a good point.
So,
Well.
I mean, it just is. So, we actually the way we look at it is
Mhm.
if you're obstructing a player, meaning you're up inside, you've got him, you've got the player, and they're just going with you, then
Yeah.
you're obstructing them. But the minute that they say you're pushing them to the left and they wanna go to their right, and start restricting them, and you're keeping them from going back that way, and it's at the point of attack where the ball's coming,
Yeah.
that's when it becomes a hold.
Makes total sense.
We
And
say obstruction or restriction.
well, it's funny that we've been talking about this because one of the questions I have for you, and it may be what we just discussed, but as an official, what is the one thing, or it could be more, that the average football fan is just completely clueless on?
Well, a lot, um,
That's fair.
and I say this because we hear it nonstop. So, the big thing is the NFL has their set of rules,
Mhm.
then NCAA has their set of rules.
Yeah.
Well, high school and down, they're governed by what's called the National Federation of High School Sports,
Mhm.
and their rules are different than college, different than the NFL. And if you watch an NFL game or a college game, everybody wears shorts now, nobody covers
Yeah.
the knees. Okay, well, in the NCAA rule book, they are required to cover their knees, but the NCAA has told the officials, "Don't worry about it."
I had no clue.
Yeah, so that is a rule.
Yeah.
They're not they're supposed to cover their knees, but the officials at the NCAA said, "Don't worry about it." And the the biggest problem is that carries over because every
Yeah.
Friday night we have to go out and cover your knees, go out and cover your knees, go out and cover your knees, and all they're doing is they're tucking their knee pads up in.
Mhm.
That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
They're there, but they're not covering their knees, and it is a constant battle. And the coaches say, "I do all I can," and my response to the coach is, "No, you don't. Do you let them practice with their knee pads rolled up?" "Well, yeah." "Then you're not doing all you can.
Yeah.
You're letting them practice, one way, and then they have to play another. If you would
Mhm.
enforce this in practice, this wouldn't even be an issue. And now we're actually the National Federation is looking at implementing a rule that if you have to keep sending players out for this, that you can start penalizing delay of games on them.
Oh,
It's
dang.
not it's that it failed by 2 votes at the National Federation meeting in February this year,
Mhm.
but it only failed by 2 votes.
Now, and I'll be honest, I'm clueless on this. How many people vote on something like that?
Oh, you have representatives from I think 48 states
Okay.
participate in the NFHS. I know Texas uses NCAA rules
Mhm.
in their high school sports, and I'm not sure why there's only 49 or 48. I don't know who the
Yeah.
49 or the other one is, but Texas doesn't participate in the NFHS. So we have he's called our official clinician,
Mhm.
Larry McCloy. He goes to these meetings. The guy in Ohio is Bo Ruggs. The guy in Kentucky is Julian something. I can't remember Julian's last name. But they're all part of this voting. And the funny thing is the guy in West Virginia and the guy in Ohio see things a lot differently. And I'm registered in both states. I haven't done a game in Ohio in years,
Yeah.
but I'm registered over there because 'cause I'm the president of our local association.
Mhm.
But so that's one because people don't "Oh, it happens on Sundays." Like, for example, the tush push, which
Yeah.
is, okay, completely illegal in high school football. But when it happens and it's called, fans lose their mind because they see the Eagles do it.
Yes.
Um, so that's one of the funniest, and they keep adapting the rule.
Mhm.
So as I'm transitioning from, working the back judge position, so I'll be the referee or the white hat on our crew this coming season.
Yeah.
So that will be my primary call if it happens in a game. And as we talked about in our interpreters meeting up in Parkersburg a couple weeks ago, it's gotta be obvious. It's gotta be both hands in the back shoving forward.
Yeah.
If you're running into the pile and say your shoulder pad is digging into the quarterback's back while you're pushing the
Mhm.
pile forward, that's gonna get a pass. But if
Yeah.
you can't push or pull.
I will tell you, I know everybody's obsessed with the Eagles tush push. I
Uh-huh.
still say the greatest tush push of all time, Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, USC versus Notre Dame. I don't know if you remember that game, but that to me is the most iconic tush push I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, that was a great game.
It was a
Mhm.
fantastic game. Well, speaking of games, I got to ask you this. What is the funniest thing a player, a coach, or fan has said to you while you've been officiating a game?
I will never forget this one as long as I live. This was my first go round in the '90s, and we're doing this game, and it was 2 smaller schools in Ohio, and somebody from the stands yelled out, "Hey, you guys better get back to the mall, they're looting your Foot Locker."
What?
I thought that was hilarious.
I mean, it is. It's very random.
It was, and, I mean, we've had some good ones. We always, of course, youth league, they think they're funny, so they say, "Oh, no,
Yeah.
no, that's too close, I want a replay. I want that needs to go to replay." So I'll turn around and put my hands up by my eyes, and I'll look down and say, sorry, replay confirms ruling on the field."
I
And
mean, I
that
love that you have a good attitude about it.
Oh, you have to. It can be I was threatened to be shot back in
Oh my goodness.
2019. We had an active military guy that was coaching,
Mhm.
uh, the youngest group. I think it was C team, and team was losing 48 to nothing. The coaches got into it, so we sent them off to the sides, and one coach kept his mouth shut while GI Joe didn't. And I say that because he was in full fatigues. His name's on his
Oh,
fatigues. He's and we're joking before the game, so which one of us is gonna toss GI Joe because he was way too high strung for C team, which is 5 and 6-year-olds.
yes.
And so he didn't like being told he had to get to the sidelines. And mind you, the 3rd quarter ended, it's 48 to nothing. And of course, GI Joe's team's losing. I'd say I know his name because
Yeah.
I found out his name, and I've not forgotten it.
Yeah.
But so he got ejected, and at that point, I ended the game
Mhm.
because the
At
losing
48
team's
nothing, so
the losing team's fans were getting out of control. And as he left the field, he told people running. We were at Nitro High School, but it was the first round of the playoffs, so we had 8 games there that day.
Mhm.
And as he's leaving the field, he looked at them and he told them he's going to get his weapons. He's gonna come back and kill us all.
Oh, no.
So Nitro PD took it serious. They had 3 cops walking the perimeter of the complex, and then they had 3 cops
Holy
walking
cow.
inside the field. So it was taken serious. And to
Wow.
tell you how that league disciplined him, I was so impressed. The following year, they promoted him from assistant to head coach. First regular season game, we show up to this location, and I said, "Hey, some guy threatened to kill us last year. Is he still around?" They said, "Oh, no, no, now he's the B team coach. He's the head coach." No. Well, tell you what, my crew's the one he threatened to shoot,
Oh
so
my
I'm gonna
goodness.
go discuss with them if they wanna do these games. And if they don't,
Wow.
you're going to pay us for the day, and we're leaving. So the guys agreed, and I said, "Okay, this is the deal." I said,
Yeah.
"He can't speak to me. He can't
Mhm.
speak to any of us. That's he can't even say hello." Lo and behold, something happened. He comes out on the field, he starts, I just put my hand up, like, "Nope, stop to the hand," and pointed back to the sidelines, and, oh, he was furious. So they finally dismissed him from this youth program because he almost took a baseball bat to an umpire.
Oh my goodness. That's
He
like
had some he had some issues.
yeah, very clearly. Wow, we went from the funniest thing to the scariest thing that you've
Oh,
experienced
I almost got attacked, what, 2022?
by a coach
No,
or a fan?
fan, no, 2024. No, from a coach. We ejected his son, and then he came out on the field, and apple didn't fall far from the tree. He got ejected pretty quickly.
Oh my goodness.
And you know, I one of the best books I've ever read, and I don't know if you deal with high tension at work and have to
Mhm.
de-escalate things, but it's a book called Verbal Judo,
Mhm. Heard
and
of it.
it's
Yep.
the art of de-escalation, and it's a
Yeah.
phenomenal book. It has taught me that, you know what? Sometimes when you have something to say, you don't necessarily need to say it.
Yes. 100%.
And we got to the tournament director, and he asked what's going on. I said, "Well, he's ejected, he's ejected. They need to leave the area because we wanna continue this game." And he said, "Well, go on." So as I turned around to go back to the field, unbeknownst to me, this guy charged me. If it wasn't for the tournament director grabbing hold of him, he was a big old boy. He would have put me in the hospital because I wouldn't
Yeah.
have seen it coming. And I was stroke was in September of 2023. This is April of 2024.
Holy smokes. Yeah, that's definitely not something to play with.
So
Well,
yeah, that stuff gets a little crazy. I mean, but there's been the Foot Locker's been the best one.
that is
Last
pretty
year
good.
last year, we were doing a game at Capitol. That's where my ex-wife works, and
Mhm.
she was the band director. And Philip is an official with me, or he was. He left my crew
Yeah.
at the end of last year, so he's going somewhere else. But Philip and I are on the field, and the call happens, and his mother band starts chanting, "I'm blind, I'm deaf, I wanna be a ref." So I get on the radio and I say, "Phil, you wanna pipe up to your mom there and have her shut the kids down?" 'Cause we all wear radios, so we
Yeah.
say we now that is we just hope nobody gets our frequency. I'll just put it that way. We're the
Yes, I
calmest
can
frequency we have.
imagine. We won't put you all on blast for what you're saying there. What I will put on blast really quick, I'm gonna throw this book in since you mentioned it. Verbal Judo, The Gentle Art of Persuasion, George J. Thompson, PhD. Is that what you're talking about?
That is exactly what I'm talking about.
There you
Now
go.
they do lectures all over the country too.
Mhm.
They
So
do
if anybody's
classes.
looking, if somebody's a ref or an official, or they have a high tension job, good book to check out. Now, I do gotta ask. We've been talking about people critiquing you. When you watch a game now, whether it's NFL, college, whatever you're watching, do you catch yourself critiquing the officiating you're watching on television?
If it's blatantly horrible, yes.
Okay.
But for the most part, I just I when it comes to NCAA games,
Mhm.
pass interference to me is cut and dry.
Yeah.
If you restrict your opponent from catching the ball, then that's pass interference. Either way, it's either offensive or defensive.
Yeah.
Okay, now there's so much hand fighting that goes on anymore, I don't call it near like I used to. But, I mean, it's always funny, you'll get a receiver that has just manhandled the defensive back, and the defensive back's got his hands on him too, and the receiver will say, "You're not gonna put a flag on that?" I said, "Who do I call it on, you or him? You guys were all over each other." And at that point, they're like, "Oh, okay, he got a point." And that's another thing, just to go back to what people don't understand. So in
Yeah.
pass interference in high school, the restrictions for pass interference on the offense begin at the snap. So a receiver cannot go downfield blocking on a
Mhm.
pass play because he knows it's a pass.
Yeah.
So that's technically offensive pass interference. Now the defensive back, his restrictions go live once the ball's in the air.
Yeah.
So at our meeting last night, we were doing film review, and it was screen passes that go past the line of scrimmage, and they're
Mhm.
not supposed to. But do you call an ineligible man downfield by the lineman, or if he's blocking when the ball's in the air, do you call offensive pass interference?
Ooh.
So that's I mean, you've got a 10 or a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things you have to determine. So it was just a great discussion last night in our meeting.
Mhm. No, it's very clear officials everywhere are dealing with a lot more than anybody understands or comprehends about the game. And I think we've kind of touched on this already, but I'm going to ask the question. Obviously, you've shared some stories of the grief you're getting, whether it's humorous or you've got a guy threatening you or somebody trying to assault you while on the field. From your perspective as an official, what would you want people to know about the people officiating the game or about their bad reactions to calls?
You're driving officials away from the game.
Yeah.
And we're already so when I officiated in the '90s, our association had 150 some officials.
Wow.
We have 56 today.
Holy cow.
And our retention is abysmal.
Mhm.
We have 13 rookies this year. We half of them won't come back.
Yeah.
And it's because of fans, coaches, and players.
Mhm.
Because it's a combination of all three, and it just when the coaches start, the fans watch it, so they do it, and
Mhm.
then the players are watching the fans and the coaches, so they do it,
Yeah.
and that's one of the most difficult things because we're watching so many different things, and you might have say the ball goes around the right end, you got a sweep going around the right end, and the left tackle tackles the left defensive end. Completely away from the ball.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if it's egregious and he picks him up, throws him down, yeah, you're gonna have a personal foul.
Yeah.
But if it's just a hold and he's restricting him from going, I've not seen a Lawrence Taylor in high school, and that's the only guy that could have made that play. And coaches get upset about it. And the number one thing, and I hate you, Matthew McConaughey, for saying this, play to the whistle blows. In high school, ball carrier's on the ground or out of bounds. Doesn't matter if the whistle blows or not, play's dead.
Yeah.
So when you hear when I hear coaches, I didn't hear a whistle. Guy's on the ground with the ball. He's down.
Yeah.
And you have to it's a constant education. But the average fans don't realize this and they get on it. I mean, when we can't parents come up to us all the time and try and show us a phone that they videoed the play. We can't look at that. I mean,
Yeah.
we're forbidden from looking at that.
Mhm.
If I have a coach that comes up and says, "Here, you need to look at this," he gets an automatic 15. That's
Oh,
not
wow.
sports. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just I don't even fool with it. But parents will come up and they'll accost us after games and want to show us videos and it's just they don't seem to understand. The only time in high school football, at least in the state of West Virginia or the state of Ohio, I'm not sure about Kentucky,
Yeah.
is the only time replay is used is in the state championship games.
Mhm.
And maybe 3 years ago, there was a play by North Marion. This kid it was number 1 on SportsCenter that night. It was guy makes a one-handed catch and does a toe touch.
Yeah.
Well, the official was I'll say this because we've looked at this play over 100 times. The official was drastically out of play
Yeah.
or out of position. All he could see was one or the other. And in where he was the one that had to judge both. So before you can judge possession, you've got to judge that he gets a foot down. And all he was looking at was the ball. So that's why he ruled it incomplete.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's so many things we're looking at, and the average fan doesn't understand it, and it gets a little frustrating when you're booed or cussed or
Yeah.
whatever, and it's even better when they know you and they call you by name. I mean, that's just
Oh. Well, I'm gonna say this, for anybody listening, and I've been this guy. Like, I've been watching officials, and I'm like, "What are you looking at? Are you blind?" And thinking these things. You have really humanized this evening, that there are real human beings like you who are trying to make the best call when there's so much stuff happening around them. Like you said, you're
uh
focused on a certain area of the field. You can't see everything. It's happening
right.
in real time. So let's give officials a break. I think, Dave, you could probably agree with me on that. Let's
Oh, yeah.
treat you all with some respect and give you all a pass, even on some of those bad plays. Unless it's super egregious, you're human beings and things are going to happen.
Oh, exactly, and that's unfortunately, in high school in high school, we're the only ones that have to be perfect on every play. College and pro, hey, guys, they don't I mean, there are officials "Well, I'll just call it this way, they're gonna review it anyways,"
Yeah.
and that's their mindset. With us, we don't have that luxury, so we have to try and be perfect every
Yeah.
time, and I still love it. I mean, you still get those butterflies. Every Friday night, I get those butterflies walking out on the field, I love it, and now I just have to make sure because 'cause we're mic'd up, the white hats are mic'd up, I've gotta make sure I push the right button, and I'm not talking into the radio, and I'm talking into the I do wanna recreate. I so hope it happens this year. I know it'll cost me a playoff game, but if I get a guy, I wanna recreate I got a personal foul on offense number 70. He was giving him the business. I still wanna recreate that.
Dave, before we jump into these top fives, thank you for educating everyone on officiating. I've learned a lot. It's given me perspective because, like I said, I get really mad at my television sometimes and what I think are egregious calls. So, for anybody listening, today's topic, since we're talking about football, is the top 5 West Virginia football players. And I want to be clear, that doesn't mean WVU. We went with West Virginia football players because it gives us more people to work with. And with this list, I don't know where David's going to head with his players, but it could be people that grew up in West Virginia. It could be people that played at WVU or who played at Marshall or other West Virginia schools. So David and I were both Marshall graduates. We both grew up in West Virginia, so I expect us to probably have some Marshall guys on our list. And for the purposes of this podcast, I consider us experts. So if you're a first-time listener, here's how the podcast works. Each of us have put together our own lists for the top 5 West Virginia football players. There is one that if it is not on David's list, I am going to be shocked. I think he and I will have one that makes both of our lists today, maybe more. But David will kick things off. He'll give his number 5 player and why they made number 5 on his list. I'll give my number 5 and why they made number 5 on mine. And we'll keep going in that fashion until we get to each of our number 1s. So, David, I'm going to hand it to you. When you
Okay.
looked at West Virginia football players, who was number 5 for you?
I looked at solely you had to be born and play in West Virginia.
Okay.
So it didn't matter where you went to school, and it was I had a 5A, 5B, but I'm gonna go ahead I'm just gonna go with the 1. So my
Okay.
number 5 is Fulton Walker. He grew up in Martinsburg, West Virginia. He played football at WVU.
Mhm.
In West Virginia, a postseason award for the special teams player of the year is called the Fulton Walker Award in the
Oh,
state of West Virginia.
had no
So
idea.
he was the first player to return a kickoff for a touchdown in a Super Bowl. It was the Miami Dolphins versus the Washington Redskins, and it was a 98-yard kickoff return. So it was the longest at that point and the first one ever returned for a kickoff. And he did play in 2 Super Bowls, one with the Dolphins and one with the 49ers. So he was my number 5.
I like that. I will be honest, as I did research, I don't remember coming across him. So good entry. I went a little bit of a different route than you. So I went with the fact that if they played for a West Virginia school in college, I included
Okay.
them. So my number 5, since yours are born and bred West Virginia, we will not share this one. My number 5 is Byron Leftwich. And I got to watch Byron play in person. I got to
Mhm.
watch him play a lot on television. Played his high school ball in D.C. For anybody who's unfamiliar, he was a quarterback at Marshall University. In 2000, he earned the starting job at Marshall after Chad Pennington had left school. That season, he'd be the MVP of the 2000 Motor City Bowl. In '01, he was part of, I think, one of the greatest comebacks of all time, the 64-61 win in double overtime in the GMAC Bowl. For that game, Marshall was down 38-8 at the half when Leftwich took over. In that game, he threw for 576 yards, 4 TDs, and 2 INTs. Now, David, do you remember the 2002 game against Akron? And if you do, what do you remember from Leftwich in that game?
I remember him and being so ticked off that they made him go to the hospital.
Yes. Yes.
They couldn't get him there in an ambulance.
Uh-huh.
He jumps in a minivan. They drive him, they X-ray his leg, they bring him back, and then they're
Yes.
carrying him down the field. I mean, it was just it's just in that Running with the Herd documentary
Mhm.
they did. You see him, getting into a gold minivan in the front seat, and they're driving him to the hospital. So, an amazing game. Now,
Yes.
I was there in Mobile at
Yeah.
that game, and my dad, for some reason, he let me I got to go with him on the charter, which was awesome 'cause
Mhm.
that's the only one I ever went to, and I remember sitting there, it's 38-3. Man, I'm like, "Son of a gun, if I'd have drove, I'd be in the car right now on my way home." But the best line I heard that night was, "If I wanted to see a team play this bad, I'd have driven to Morgantown."
That's such a good line. Oh, yeah. No, so the Akron game, you gave a better description than I could. If people are not familiar with Leftwich's legacy at Marshall, here it is. 2-time MAC Offensive Player of the Year, first team All-MAC, MAC MVP. At Marshall, he threw for 11,900 plus yards, 89 TDs, 6th in Heisman voting in 2002. Drafted 7th overall by the Jags in '03, started 4 years for the Jags, then of course became kind of a perennial backup at that point in the NFL. And while his NFL career wasn't stellar, I do think that just his college career for me made him number 5 on my list. David, I got to ask you, if you considered players who just played at a West Virginia school, would
Oh, he was
Leftwich have been in
he'd definitely
consideration?
be in there. He'd
Okay.
definitely be in
Okay.
there. He is one and the funny thing about Byron, a lot of people don't realize this, he's at
Mhm.
6'5", 6'6". He's got size 8 feet,
Oh, I didn't know that.
tiny feet. So when he was with the Steelers,
Mhm.
and he's a Super Bowl champ. He was a backup with
Yeah.
the Steelers, and his first play of the game, Ben got hurt, he comes in, he runs a 35 or 38-yard touchdown, and they smack one foot into the other, falls and breaks his arm in the end zone, and Charlie Batch recovers him, another MAC quarterback.
Uh-huh.
But when you talk about the Jags, what's funny, when you think about his time at the Jags,
Mhm.
you know who replaced him as the starting quarterback?
Was it David Gerard?
It was, and who was the quarterback at ECU when Byron won the 64-61 game? It
Yeah,
was
it's
David.
it's crazy how their careers had those parallels.
Oh, it's just insane, but, yeah, I'll never forget that game, and the coach was shocked he was fired after that game, I can't understand it.
Well, David, I'll kick it back to you. Who made number 4 on your list
Well,
today?
number 4, and again, I'm going back in time here again,
Mhm.
a South Charleston guy, Carl Lee, who grew up in South Charleston, West Virginia. He played at Marshall. He's in the MU Athletics Hall of Fame. Played 11 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings. He's a 3-time Pro Bowl. He was named one of the 50 greatest players in Viking history, and you think about some of the players they had. You had the
Yeah.
Purple People Eater defensive line. You had Fran Tarkington. I mean, you had some amazing players, and he's considered one of the top 50 of all time.
Yeah.
I've actually met the man. He gives selflessly of his time to South Charleston youth football.
Oh, wow.
He is an amazing, humble individual that is just fun to talk to.
Mhm.
So doing the officiating and doing a lot of youth football, I've had multiple opportunities to talk with Carl, and he, as he says, he goes, I was blessed that they kept me as long as they did, and that's the way he looks at it. I mean, because I'm a West Virginia boy playing with the
Yeah.
big boys up with the Vikings. I just think he was one. It's so funny. We 10 of us went to eat last night after our officials meeting.
Mhm.
We meet once a week up until the season starts, and it's every 2 weeks to go over film and all this other stuff. So I'm talking to him about this list, and I actually had Kurt Warner. He was one of the other ones on there from Pineville, West Virginia,
Mhm.
played for the Seahawks, but he got bumped for Carl Lee because I just felt like Lee's career was longer.
Yeah.
Mm. And he had more Pro Bowl seasons than Kurt Warner did, not to discount Kurt Warner out of little Pineville, West Virginia.
Hey, you're not discrediting him. It is hard to make a list and only make it 5 people. It is
That
so
is true.
tough,
Yeah.
and every time I do one of these episodes, I struggle, my lists change. I'll be honest, I'm looking at this guy's stats. I feel bad that I did not know who Carl Lee was prior to tonight, because dude's had a heck of a career.
He did.
Like, this is some fantastic accolades, so I I'm learning something new as we're recording this evening. Well,
So
oh,
who's
go
your
ahead.
number?
I was gonna
I was
say
just
my
gonna
my number 4, Chuck Howley. Does he make anywhere on your list today?
he is number 3.
Okay, so hopefully I don't steal too much of your thunder. I'll give you why he was number 4 for me. So this is a guy played at Willing Central Catholic High School and Warwood High School. Do
Mhm.
not ask me where Warwood High School is, because I have no clue. I don't think it exists anymore.
No.
Played football, basketball, and baseball in high school.
Mhm.
Played for WVU, playing
Mhm.
guard and center. A 3-time All-Conference player and Conference Player of the Year in 1957. Based on the research I did, he was the only athlete in WVU history to letter in 5 sports: football, track, wrestling, gymnastics, and swimming. Would not have guessed either of the last 2.
No.
All-around athlete, later inducted into the WVU Hall of Fame. Selected 7th overall by the Bears in 1958. Suffered a severe knee injury in 1959 before being traded to the Cowboys. And with David's team, the Cowboys, should have seen it coming for him being on your list. He saw major success. 1968 set the record for the second most interceptions by a linebacker. In Super Bowl V, the Cowboys lost 16-13, but he was still awarded the Super Bowl MVP, becoming the only player from a losing team to win MVP, the first defensive player and non-quarterback to win the award. During that game, he intercepted 2 passes and forced a fumble. The following year, when the Cowboys won the Super Bowl, Howley would force a fumble recovery and record an interception. He's been inducted into the Ring of Honor at Texas Stadium. He's inducted into the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler, 5-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time second-team All-Pro, and WVU retired his number. And since you said he's your number 3, right?
Mhm. Yes.
I'll just go ahead and hand it to you. What am I missing? He ranked number 3 for you.
So one of the most famous games is we'll talk about with my number 2 guy, but there are games that the NFL have immortalized,
Yeah.
and one of them is the Ice Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
and Chuck Howley played in the Ice Bowl against the Green Bay Packers,
Mm-hmm.
and I still think Bart Starr fumbled and fell down before he crossed the goal line. I'm just gonna say it, just gonna say it. Nope, nope.
Hey, you can put that out there. That's okay.
I have. Nobody believes me. But yeah, that everything else that you mentioned, I had. It's just I think it's really impressive. Pro Football Hall of Fame,
Yeah,
WVU Hall of Fame, College Football Hall of Fame. And again, I think the biggest tell, the only player from a losing team to win the MVP. That's just huge.
it is. And I think I think the NBA has that too, because Jerry West is the
Yes.
only guy, which interestingly enough, another West Virginia guy. So look
Mhm.
at West Virginia showing out, I guess, when losing, but that's still impressive.
Right. So who's your number 3?
So my number 3 will not be on your list because he's not from West Virginia originally, and it is Chad Pennington. And I hope this is a name that people listening to this recognize, but Pennington didn't start playing football until high school. He was only being recruited by 2 colleges. Those are Middle Tennessee State and the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. He ended up going to a training camp at Marshall, gained the attention of the head coach, accepted a scholarship, and the rest is history. So in 95, Pennington led Marshall to the AA football championship game, which Marshall lost 22-20. In 96, he was redshirted, and in 97, as Marshall moved to Division I, Pennington led the nation in passing TDs with 39, leading Marshall to win the 1998 Motor City Bowl, in which Pennington won MVP. In 99, he led the nation in completion percentage and in passing TDs. Marshall went undefeated that season. Pennington went 5th in the Heisman voting. And in his college career, Pennington threw for over 13,000 yards and 115 TDs. He was selected 18th overall by the New York Jets, spending 8 seasons with the Jets, 3 with the Dolphins. And while his stats aren't, earth-shattering in the NFL, I still think they're decent. He led the NFL in passer rating in 2002. He led the NFL in completion percentage in 02 and 08. Comeback Player of the Year in 06 and 08. And during his NFL career, he threw for over 17,000 yards, 102 TDs, and had a 90.1 passer rating. David, this is another one that if you had looked at people that weren't born in West Virginia, would Pennington be on your list today?
He would have been my number 2.
Okay. Why would
I
he have
I
ranked so high for you?
I love the guy. He's not only, uh, had done a lot and been a great ambassador for Marshall football,
Hmm.
he is one impressive individual.
Yeah.
To have a conversation with the guy, just a very, very humble guy. When he was playing, I did a lot for sport. I did stuff in the press box during the
Hmm.
games, so sports information. And there were times I'd walk into the sports information office and he'd be in there. He'd say, "Oh, how you doing?" I said, "I'm Dave Riedel." He goes, "Well, I'm Chad Pennington." I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, "So, Mr. Riedel, how are you?" And I said, "No, no, no, I'm David. Paul's Mr. Riedel." And but just an incredible individual.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the guy gives and gives and gives. A
hmm
lot of things a lot of people don't know this, and I'm hoping this guy's not on your list, but if he is, then I'll talk about some stuff. But there was one player that Doc Holliday brought Chad in to try and mentor,
hmm
and it was a quarterback, and the guy was so arrogant and egotistical, he wouldn't listen to a thing that Chad was trying to teach him.
yeah.
And it's just you've got a guy like Chad who is just a brainiac. I'm
hmm
really we brought Cole in here, his middle son or his oldest son, and it just didn't work out, and he's at Gardner
Yeah.
Webb, last I heard. And, of course, the youngest is at Dayton, Luke, or the middle son, and
hmm
apparently the youngest, who is gonna be a quarterback at not Gardner Webb, Sayre in Lexington, they're saying he's gonna be better than both those 2 put together. So, not only was he a great quarterback, apparently his lineage is really sprouting well, but
Yeah.
he was impressive. He was a very cerebral quarterback, and I think one of the most impressive things that were ever said when they were interviewing Randy Moss, when they were talking about quarterbacks, he goes, "Hey, you wanna get me a quarterback that can throw me the ball? Bring me Chad Pennington."
That is like the ultimate seal of approval right there.
Yes.
Well, I know you said Pennington would be your number 2 if you had looked at people that just played in West Virginia.
Mhm.
Who was your number 2 on the list today?
That would be Sam Huff from Farmington, West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
He played at WVU. This guy was just a beast. WVU retired his number 75. He's a member of the College Football Hall of Fame, WVU Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame. He was NFL Rookie of the Year, played in the greatest game ever played between Baltimore and the New York Giants, and that game lasted forever. Just an incredible game. Johnny Unitas, I think, is the one that came through with the victory.
Mm-hmm.
I have a great Johnny Unitas story if you're interested at the end.
Okay. I mean, you can even hit it now if you want to.
Well, so I actually use this in job interviews.
Okay.
So, when interviewing for a job, I said, "Look, I can exceed your expectations if I'm given the chance. I'm asking for the chance."
Ooh.
And they'll look at me, and I'll set it up. I said, "I'm gonna use the Johnny Unitas clothes on you." And they're like, "Johnny Unitas? What?" And I said, "Who drafted Johnny Unitas?" And they're like, "Baltimore Colts." I said, "No. Pittsburgh Steelers drafted Johnny Unitas. They looked at him in training camp, said, 'I'm sorry, we can't use you.'" One of the greatest guys to ever play the game at quarterback back in that era. And the Pittsburgh Steelers looked at him and said, "Sorry, we can't use you."
I had no idea he'd been drafted by them.
Yep. Yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers were the ones that had him first, and they looked at him and said, "I'm sorry, we can't use you." That's actually got me 2 jobs.
Oh, wow. I mean, it's a good quote.
Thankfully, I backed it up. I didn't pull in and do gosh, I can't even think of that running back's name for the Cowboys when they paid him all the money and he just disappeared.
Oh, you're talking
You know
recent,
him.
right?
Ohio State guy.
Oh, you're talking about Ezekiel Elliott.
Yes.
Oh, come on. He was good for a bit.
Great years. He got the paycheck and he just disappeared. So
it goes one or two ways. Somebody either
he did get hurt.
Yeah, that happens. But you see some guys, they fall off once they get that big money, and then some, very few, decide they're going to keep working.
Right, kicking into overdrive.
Yes.
But NFL All-Decade Team, first player to appear on Time Magazine. Mm-hmm. First NFL football player to ever appear on Time Magazine was Sam Huff. So he's in the New York Giants Ring of Honor, and also as I still refer to them as the Washington Redskins Ring of Honor.
Yeah. It's funny. He was on my honorable mentions. So I looked at him, but he was, I think he was number 6 as I was making this list today.
Well, I'm old school, I'm the Gen Xer. So I went back to guys that, I never saw him play because I wasn't born until 68, but
yeah.
But he's one that you grew up and there's an award named after him in the state of West Virginia for postseason.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that you're a Gen Xer and you're going back in time, because I went back in time for my number 2. And did Frank Gatsky get any consideration for you today?
He did not, because he wasn't from West Virginia.
Yeah. So
Gunnar Gatsky, impressive.
Yes. So as I was looking at his background here, we're talking that when he played high school football, there was a cow pasture that they played in, no scoreboard, bleachers, or even a game clock. And he played 2 years at Marshall before entering the military in World War II. After returning from war, I did not realize this, he played at Auburn for a bit. And actually finished up with college, went back to working in the coal mines. One of his friends said, "Hey man, you should go try it out for the Cleveland Browns." So he hitchhiked to Bowling Green, Ohio for the team's training camp. And in 1948, so we're talking back in the 40s.
You did go, you went way back.
I did. He became the starting center for the Cleveland Browns. Now, while they were part of the AAFC, the Browns would win 4 championships. When they joined the NFL in 1950, Gatsky continued to help lead the team to success, winning 4 NFL titles in 50, 54, 55, and 57, which the 57 title was after he had been traded to the Lions, who beat his former team. So he made the Pro Bowl in 56, was a 4-time first-team All-Pro, and 1-time second-team All-Pro. And this is why he's number 2 for me, because this is like cue up DJ Khaled's All I Do Is Win. In his professional career, he won 8 championships. He played in 11 championship games out of 12 seasons played, which is a professional football record.
Right.
Um, he did not miss a game or practice in 12 years. He's in the Cleveland Browns Ring of Honor, and his Marshall University jersey was retired. So I look at him as almost like the Bill Russell or anybody from the Celtics, like that NBA time. That's what he
Right.
was for the NFL. Makes number 2 for me. David, you seem like you know Gatsky. Am I missing anything that needs to be noted
No,
on him?
it's you gave some stats that I wasn't aware of, but yeah, he is the only football player in Marshall history to have his jersey retired.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Very impressive dude, for sure.
yes, yes, he is he was something else, and I don't think we do enough to honor him
Yeah.
like some of the other ones we have. But I mean, of course,
Mm-hmm.
he's passed, but still, I mean, I think he's somebody we need to spend more time at Marshall talking about.
Yeah, highlighting, definitely.
Yes.
Well, David, we're getting to your number 1, and if
Well,
it
I
is
imagine
not
it's
who I
yours
think
too.
it is, I am
Oh,
going to
no.
be appalled. So who is your number 1 today?
Oh, it's gotta be Rakeem Cato. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I about fell out of my chair.
Just kidding. That's the quarterback I was talking about that ignored Chad's advice.
Oh, he wasn't even anywhere consideration on my list.
No, he to me, he is well, so, no, my number 1 is out of Rand, West Virginia, Randy Moss,
Mm-hmm.
because College Football Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame, 1996 national champion, 97 Biletnikoff Award winner. I think he was 5th in the Heisman voting. He
Uh-huh.
was the NFL All-Decade Team of 2000, 100th anniversary All-Time Team, 6-time Pro Bowl, led the NFL in receiving TDs 5 times in 98, 2000, 03, 07, and 08. Led Marshall to an undefeated season in 96 with Eric Kresser throwing in the ball, had another impressive season in 97 with Chad Pennington throwing him the ball, set a record for consecutive games in college with a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And just an impressive individual. Started at Notre Dame, didn't play it down there, went to FSU, didn't play it down there. Actually talked to Don Nehlen about coming up there. Nehlen said, "Well, I'm not changing my offense for you. Who are you?" So, thankfully, Don Nehlen is a 3 yards in a cloud of dust kinda guy at that point,
Yeah.
so we got blessed to have Randy Moss. Yes, he had some history, he had some trouble, and as a lot of kids do.
Yeah.
Nowadays, what Randy did is just it's not even considered crime anymore, it's in
Uh-huh.
some places. But he came in and he really helped, and I'll never forget Bobby Bowden, Montana's coach. I can't remember the guy, I wanna say shoot, I can't remember the guy's name, but he had a conversation with Bobby Bowden. He goes, he goes, "If you'd have kept Moss down at Florida State, we'd have both been national champions in '96." So, but I watched my favorite game, two of my favorites. I
Mm-hmm.
sat in the press box when Moss played, so I had great seats for all of his games. And I will never forget, we're playing the Citadel, and they've got this guy. A lot of times you pull the free safety over and you doubled him
Yeah.
high-low. Well, they had this corner playing press coverage on Moss one-on-one. So we're in the press box we're trying to get the Citadel sports information director. "Hey, did he do something wrong? Is he in the coach's doghouse? They're making him cover Moss one-on-one?" I mean, it was just we would have all kinds of fun. But my favorite game in that '96 season,
Mm-hmm.
and this ranks for me, this ranks number 1 all time in Marshall victories. I know a lot of people will disagree. They think the Xavier win, which it was huge. This is a toss-up.
Yeah.
But you being a Marshall fan, when they beat Furman 54 to nothing in the quarterfinals of the 1996 national championship tournament, that was, to me, the most gratifying Marshall win prior to the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because, or no, I mean, that even superseded the '92 national championship,
Yeah.
because Furman, they were such arrogant jerks. Every time they came to town, you hated them.
Yeah.
And I coached volleyball at Marshall in '91, so Furman, beautiful campus, beautiful facilities, arrogant, jerks, even on the volleyball court. Just hated them. So that was so satisfying to me, and I love X because it's got some Marshall fan is putting all these highlights out there, and they had that game, the highlights from that game, and I just watched it over and over and over. Oh, but, I'm trying to think of, I mean, he did a little bit of everything.
He
Oh,
did.
one of the other things that people don't remember is he didn't train, but he went to the Southern Conference track meet. Yeah, he won a couple Southern Conference titles
He
without
did.
training. That was
He
the other
did.
thing.
It was with those the 1996, the 60-meter and the 100-meter sprints is what he
Yeah,
won. And it's my understanding did it with zero training, like did not practice, just
no,
waltzed out of a car and just
yeah.
destroyed everyone.
But yeah,
It's
he was something else. So I'm gonna assume he's your number one.
by far. And I'm looking through the notes I had. I want to make sure I don't repeat anything because you hit a lot of the stuff. But I'll take it back to his high school days for a moment. So when you're talking about Randy Moss here, we're talking about a dude who played football, basketball, baseball, and track. Now, we know football. I mean, he was playing wide receiver, free safety. He returned kicks and punts,
Mhm,
kicker and punter. But basketball, he was a superstar as well. So a basketball player from West Virginia that people should know, Jason Williams, goes by White
that was his
Chocolate.
setup, man.
Yep, played Sacramento Kings.
Yep.
Moss was actually the best player on that team. In 94, Moss was player of the year. Actually, I think he
Mhm,
was a two-time West Virginia basketball player of the year while at DuPont.
mhm,
94 player of the year in high school football. 95, he was an All-American. In 2009, he was ranked one of the 50 greatest high school players of all time. You hit all of his college stats. He's still got records that he holds today. I think one of the most impressive is when he hit the most TD passes caught in a season. He tied a
mhm,
guy by, the name of Jerry Rice. And in the NFL, he still holds the record for most receiving TDs by a rookie in a single
mhm.
season with 17 back in 98, and most receiving TDs in a single season in 2007 with 23. And David, I'll tell you this, I would put Moss probably number one on multiple lists. If we were
Oh,
talking
yeah.
best receiver, boom.
Mhm,
If we're talking best athlete, he's in the running for that for me. Just when you're better than another NBA player on your team, and that's your
right.
secondary sport, and
Mhm,
as we both talked about, you roll out of a car and you go out and win a track meet. And I think he also set records that day in the track meet. Just an
mhm,
all-around great athlete. I will say this, Moss has popped up on a previous episode. I think it was episode 6. We talked about our top 5 favorite athletes we've watched in person.
mhm.
When you were in the press box, I was in the stands as a child
Oh,
watching
nice.
Moss play in those games. And I know we talked about he's had a little bit of maybe some what wouldn't be deemed as problematic or troubling these days, but was back then in terms of some of his actions off the field. But I think we can all agree Moss has ended up being a fantastic ambassador for West Virginia. Great dude. One of those guys that you're like proud to say came from this state, and one of, well, I'll just say it. I think personally the greatest wide receiver of all time is Randy Moss. Are
Oh,
we
without a
missing
doubt.
anything else on Moss that people need to know?
No, I think I think the big thing is Pruitt really helped him grow up.
Hmm.
I think that was one of the things that people don't realize. He was immature. I mean,
Yeah.
he had a problem, um, and he did stay away from the weed that got him in trouble at Florida State here at Marshall.
Yes.
And yeah, but Pruitt was on him,
Yeah.
and it's my understanding he had people watching him to make sure he didn't do anything stupid.
Smart call. Smart decision.
It was, but, and that was one thing I'll never forget going down 2001, we opened the season at Florida, and, heck, I thought, Pruitt had the fans fired up. I thought we were winning that game, and they're the number 1 team
Yeah.
in the country.
Well,
So, I mean, Bobby was he did a great job. Now Don and
yeah.
I still I know a lot of people get frustrated with Don and by the way he left and probably
Mhm.
cost us the '95 national championship, but he was a guy that and this is somebody, if I was choosing outside, just people that
Yeah.
played at Marshall or WVU, Troy Brown would have made my list.
Mhm.
And that was a guy that Chris Selfo was down at his junior college looking at an offensive lineman, and then this receivers just doing all this stuff. That's how we ended up with Troy Brown. Nobody was recruiting him.
Mhm.
We Don and staff was just superb at finding the diamonds in the rough, and I think Tony Gibson's gonna have to go back to that mentality because in the day and age what we're in now, it's just with the money, you've gotta find those
Yeah.
diamonds in the rough that nobody's taking a chance on.
Uh-huh.
Of course, then you only have them for a year.
Yeah, unless you're one of the big programs, and then, if you're not the Ohio States, the Indianas, the
Right,
Miamis of the world, they're gonna come and snatch those guys from you.
right. And gotta mention Indiana because, listen, just Google me if you wanna know how good I am.
Exactly. Well,
Hey, Marshall has a winning record against Signetti, just so you know.
I did not know that. That was something that is, news to me.
Yep, when he was coaching at JMU, Marshall beat him.
Does Signetti know this? Because all he does is
Well,
win, according to him.
yeah, but if you Google him, that's why.
That's true.
I actually got Grok. I caught it up in a mistake. I said, "What teams has Lane Kiffin never beaten?"
Mhm.
And Marshall is one of those teams when he was at Florida Atlantic. And
Really?
yeah, and Grok came back and I said, and of course it wasn't on there. And I said, "Oh no, you're mistaken." Back in whenever it was, I said he lost to Marshall and Grok. Oh, I stand corrected. You are correct. And went through the stats of it was hilarious. Yeah, I corrected AI. I'm
There you
smarter than
go.
you.
That's why you're an official. That's what you're doing.
Oh, there you go.
Well, David, I gotta ask, before we wrap up today, any closing thoughts on our list? Did we miss anybody? Like, what are your
Yeah,
thoughts as we wrap up?
I and we're both Marshall fans, and some WVU guys. I mean, you got guys like everybody talks about Pat White.
Yeah.
I'm a Major Harris guy.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Major Harris was just a beast. He was one that was just did so many great things,
Yeah.
and I just Major Harris, if he didn't hurt himself, would have probably been a decent pro.
Mhm.
Uh, and I think Pat White showed with that hit against the Steelers that he was never gonna be a pro.
Yeah.
But I'm one of those that, you got the wide receivers, Tavon Austin. I mean, he was great, but again, with us leaning towards Marshall,
Yeah.
anyway, I mean, those are everybody on our list was well deserving.
Yeah.
I think I mean, I just going back to the last my 5th and 4th, I mean, those are ones that, um and Fulton Walker was a WVU guy, but Carl Lee, I mean,
Mhm.
a solid NFL career. So I enjoyed it. It was fun. I always love to talk about officiating too
Yeah.
because it's fun to have a conversation when somebody's not telling you you suck.
No, my whole goal today was to educate people that are listening to this and to see it from a whole other perspective. And I think that's p a big piece of why I started this podcast with the whole generational thing. There's a lot of stuff we disagree on, and a good way to deal with that sometimes is to chat about it. So, why does somebody stand where they stand? You may
Uh-huh.
still have your same opinion, but it's cool to hear the other side of an argument. And then we have days like today where unequivocally we both agree that number one is Randy Moss. So,
Oh,
sometimes,
absolutely.
regardless of generation, we say this is the right answer.
Exactly.
All right, so at the end of this episode here, I want to drop an ad for Riverside, the podcasting service I use. It's the time of year where college football rankings are coming out. And if I had to give a ranking to apps where you can record audio and video files for podcasting or for training, Riverside holds the number one spot in my book. Riverside gives you the ability with editing tools to be like the head official, go to the booth, check out what happened, and make the correct call. Whether that means you got to cut something that was said on your podcast, eliminate some background noise, or add in some music at the beginning of your episode. If you're looking for an incredible app that has the distinction of being ranked number one in my top faves, give Riverside a listen. Give them a try. I'll post an affiliate link in this episode description. As always, thank you all for tuning in. If you've not done so yet, like, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, tell a friend to check out this podcast. This was a topic that was suggested by a listener of the West Virginia football players. So if you have a suggestion for a topic that you'd like to hear covered, you can send those in to generationalfave5@gmail.com. That's generational, FAVE, the number 5 at gmail.com. Thank you all for tuning in.